We talk about creating life-changing experiences through good design, understanding the client so well, their psychology, how they work, and then that's now given back to them in this new space.
Hi, I'm Julie Hale, and we're here at the Trail Appliances Richmond showroom, and this is Designer Diaries.
I'm Katerina Vastardis, Designs by KS. I started this in 2016, the week that I had my child. My partner and I, at the time, just had a choice of like, do we start looking for employment or do we just start this thing together? And we did. It was just kind of like a leap of faith. I have a very strong love for my business because it's as old as my baby, and it's like the other huge thing that I invest time and effort and put love into it. And I think that I've built a pretty good company culture. I've got a couple star key players in there and we function as a family. I've lucked out. I've been very blessed.
So Kat, you were our first designer sales client over 2.5 years ago. How has it been working with Hoda?
I rely on professionals. Hoda's a professional. She has an expertise. She relies on me. That relationship shows to our clients, or friendship even shows, right? You end up building trust. Hoda ends up being a reflection of who we are, and our clients see our little family and the extension of the family from these other companies, and that's how we gain their trust. I'm no expert at appliances. I'm an expert at gathering all the info to make it visually function. Relying on our professionals is like a key player.
Kat, we're sitting in this beautiful Bosch kitchen in our Richmond showroom that you designed. Tell me a little bit about how you approach the design, the layout, and the material selection.
You are the client and Bosch is the client in this situation, and you guys have a marriage too, where Trail needs to exist with Bosch, and we have to compromise in landing something that will look good and give great results for both companies. That was probably the biggest challenge. It's both our jobs to understand what Bosch needs in the space.
Was there a tricky moment or design challenge that you had to solve in this kitchen?
The amount of appliances that we had to fit in a kitchen, so we played with the right tones and colors to offset everything that had to like exist in one space while working with a lot of appliances. Sometimes using darker finishes actually makes a space feel lighter. When we have a lot of tall appliances, let's say in any given kitchen, we typically give them the most amount of volume in regards to the color tone. So you'll often see them dark, and in this space, the darker items are big and tall as well. It does this like opposite of what you would think, where we had the white kitchen before and that felt heavier. It had less flow, it had less emotion and feeling, and I really wanted somebody to come in here and make it feel like this could be their kitchen, not that it's just a display suite. It was very important to me that it felt like a kitchen. I think that there's no better way to sell an appliance than to be like relatable to it. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of appliances in a row.
What's a misconception that people have about working with a designer?
I would say that either design is expensive or an interior designer would be expensive. Hiring somebody's gonna spend more of our money, but what ends up being most expensive is not hiring the right professional to do it.
What do you think is something clients regret not upgrading?
I've had clients say like, oh, I wish I did do the steam oven. It was one of the things that they cut because it seemed like an extra, but these items work for you, right? Like these appliances work for you every day. Do you wanna be doing the dishes, or should the dishwasher do a really good job, right? Do you wanna be drying dishes? I don't have to dry dishes. My dishes come out perfectly dry and clean. I think sometimes, to be quite frank, when we talk about pricing to the clients at the end of it and they see it all come in and what they've spent on it, sometimes they would have spent more, but there's fear-based decisions along the way of how you spend your money. Invest heavily right from the start. A lot of people regret not hiring sooner, not spending that money earlier.
I think one of your specialties is small spaces or space planning. What are the things that you do so that it maximizes the space or feels bigger?
I have a background being Greek in the restaurant business, right? When you look at kitchens in the restaurant business, the kitchens are small, but the efficiency that you work within is insane. Like you only need what you need. Everything's perfectly organized, labeled, efficient. They talk about like just taking one step to rotate from an area that you need to the next. I think taking that mindset and bringing it into like the residential space and having that kitchen work hard for you efficiently and so on, the rest is just like nice to have. But you have to really land the key elements of that space.
What do you do when you have a couple that has different ideas on design?
Designing is a lot like a marriage. It's a lot like planning a wedding. Often they've already done that part. They already live together. There's already day-to-day compromises that are happening, but there's something special that happens when you hire a professional. They're kind of like a mediator of these issues. Sometimes I have the last say in the situation. They'll debate it and say, you now take that and deliver it. I tell people right from the start that they'll hear me object to something a couple of times, but at the end of the day, it's their decision as to how we're gonna go about it. And then it's my job to give them what they actually want. I'm not a designer that just gives them what I think. I'm gonna give them what they need. So picking the right designer that fits for you is very important. It's important for both sides. I would love to design space for my mom. My mom's like a farm to table kind of person. So to give her all the right things that like would bring that forward, I would just give my mom everything. Sometimes I talk about how my clients, I go into their home a year later or maybe 6 months later, they've lived in it enough. And then I have these aha moments going like, oh, you kind of blend into your background, right? Because like their style is represented in that space. It's a reflection of who you are. Hi, I'm Katerina. That's it.
Perfect.
Use that one.